movie magic. That's why we watch them. Because it's fun. Takes us out of reality.
Okay, so I'm trying... I still have to get the rest of the suit, and I'm trying to figure out how to get back there. So, not this way. It was...
Or another fun movie trope. The idea that radiation can make you into an X-Men. Or that it can in any way mutate you like that. Which, I had to point out this to a lot of people who don't understand radiation. It's not something that magically rewrites your genetic code and gives you superpowers. This almost never happens. If it even happens at all. Radiation is more like taking a shotgun to you on a molecular level. Your gene code doesn't change into something cool. Your gene code
dies.
Yeah, essentially it's like taking a shotgun to all your molecules. They fall to pieces.
Watch Chernobyl.
Much the same way, shooting a wall with a shotgun doesn't make the wall stronger. You've just blown a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
That's what happens to your cells.
Yes, your body literally just explodes or melts, whatever you like to call it. It can't survive. It won't survive. So yeah, kids, do not roll in radiation. Stay away from it.
Please stay away from the RBMK reactor. Did you lower the control rods or not?
What things we have done, what things.
And yeah, and going back to Bioshock here, and why it would just make more sense for a Big Daddy to have the sound of a whale to just sound more eerie and intimidating. And before anybody says that Rapture, well, by this logic, a Rapture shouldn't exist then. Yes and no. Humans are physically capable of building something like this underwater. It's just not resourcefully a smart thing to do.
Well, another thing too, we built devices that could go to the moon in the 60s, and those had to be airtight.
Yeah.
A place like Bioshock would only need to be watertight, which is way easier to do.
So, in theory, a city like this could exist. In theory, Big Daddies would sound like this. Why make it sound like a T-Rex? Something that doesn't... You want to hear something sad about the T-Rex, guys? Ooh, I'm gonna break some hearts here.
Oh, no.
So, oh yes, I'm gonna have fun with this. So, scientists have researched quite a lot into the T-Rex, and they strongly believe that because it had such a large nose and relatively sensitive hearing, it wouldn't make sense for a T-Rex, that typical stereo Hollywood sound effect of the T-Rex roar, to be so dang loud. It would rupture the animal's ears. In theory, scientists believe that the T-Rex didn't roar at all, but made really deep-throated vibrational sounds similar to what elephants do. Now, not to say it wouldn't terrify the living crap out of you if you were to run into one, because humans have been programmed to be terrified of low-pitched sounds. So, even though the T-Rex may not roar like today, if you were to hear its rumble, you would still be terrified. So, at least you got that to go on.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
I broke some hearts.
No, like, another interesting thing about dinosaurs too is that they don't have ears, they just have eardrums.
They didn't have what?
They didn't really have ears, they just had eardrums.
Yes. Yeah, I'll believe that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they weren't, I imagine the ear was a mammal evolution, apparently.
Yeah. It helped us, to stay cool or moderate our temperatures? Having ears?
Also protects the eardrum. Because if your eardrum blows, you can't fix it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So if your eardrum is just exposed, all you'd have to do, if you're around a group of dinosaurs, especially if they need to hear, if you just really want to ruin their predatory ability, just play a really loud noise, and they would probably be...
So what you're saying is, we should play the most annoying sound in the world?
Oh my god, either that, or just imagine, just put out a loudspeaker and just, like, blast, like, old-school dubstep. Like Skrillex or something.
Mm-hmm.
You would probably utterly ruin their predatory abilities.
No.
With dubstep.
Yeah.
Your eardrums don't blow.
There's also two theories going around about the T-Rex that he may not have even been an apex predator. He was probably a scavenger, mostly. Simply because, well, he has tiny arms and he has extremely big, long legs. If he were to ever damage those legs, though, he couldn't physically get up again.
Well, what's kind of interesting about this is my grandfather's an ornithologist too.
Uh-huh.
This is vaguely related to the dinosaur thing, not the scavenger thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
He was writing a book for 12-year-olds, and he told me and my sisters, who obviously were a lot older than that, he says, "Hey, can you read this manuscript I have? I want you to tell me if a 12-year-old would understand it." So my grandfather wrote a book for 12-year-olds explaining how birds evolved from dinosaurs, specifically which dinosaur and like what happened. Because, you know, his main study is birds.
Yeah.
So he thought, oh, this is perfect for teaching them evolution. I will teach them how dinosaurs became birds.
Okay, so now... Right.
Oh my gosh, the dogs are snoring.
It's kind of adorable.
Yeah.
Oh, damage research. Switching out with static discharge.
I like that. Tiny arms, big, but big, chunky thighs.
Oh, speaking of what I said earlier about how I said, in my opinion, Godzilla was a childish reaction to nukes.
There is only one piece missing. The pheromones. Go to the little one.
I need to re-download my favorite nuclear apocalypse game.
Fallout?
No.
Sorry, it's the first one I think of.
I'm not saying Fallout's bad, but I don't like Fallout as a story because it's a setting that never changes.
Right.
And it should. Like, by the dates most of these games take place, nuclear Fallout should not only have long gone away, but the world should most certainly be back to normal with no mutants living anymore.
So what was your game?
Metro 2033.
Oh, I heard of those games.
Well, the story's like way better. First off, it was adapted from a Russian author who wrote a book of the same name. But what's really cool about it is that there are, and this is a Russian staple, there are just explicit supernatural things that just happen. But they're not like, in a weird way, like the characters don't talk about it, which is a facet of a Russian genre called, no, sorry, it started in Brazil, but Russians also did it too, called magic realism, where a supernatural element is present, but the characters either, like, they react to it normally, and they don't often talk about it that much. It's just a thing that happens. And the story reacts to it in a very specific way. But, there's more fascination with that, especially as a storytelling mechanic, than just, oh, here's a nuclear playground that never really changes. The story's kind of paper thin for me. And it's an RPG, so I want to play for the story.
What's the matter, Mary? You look like you could use a boost.
Alright. Okay, so I got 190 atom left. What can I grab? Oh, yeah, let's grab another health upgrade. That should be fine. That goes in there. I need to head.
Splicing. Before you know it, you'll be as right as rain. Remember, a smart splicer is a happy splicer.
Okay, that girl's stuck. Oh, actually, I know.
Little sister is stuck?
Yeah, she can't get out.
Oh no!
It's a glitch. Yeah.
Oh, it's a glitch.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go back to the failsafe area because I think there is something I missed in the failsafe. Yeah, there's a stair that heads up to. The set of stairs that heads up, and then I think there's a separate. Nope, not this one. It's in Sudus. Oh, there it is. There it is. There, yep. Okay, so I believe there is a secret something or other somewhere. Might be across here. Yeah, I know. I gotta activate the smell. Oh, here we are.
Could I have made mistakes?
Possibly.
One does not build cities if one is guided by doubt. But can one govern in absolute certainty? I know that my beliefs have elevated me just as I know that the things I have rejected would have destroyed me. But the city, it's collapsing before my... Have I become so convinced by my own beliefs that I have stopped seeing the truth? Perhaps. But Atlas is out there.
I think we need to make sure that people actually seen Shin Godzilla.
Another funny, interesting thing about evolution is that if you actually study it, because a lot of movies try to harp on this idea of, oh, it evolves really quickly. It's not just that it takes like millions of years for that to happen. There are two problems with that story. One, evolution never happens in a vacuum. So if an alien, a species, or an animal has no reason to be like it is, then it's not going to develop it. And also, if it can adapt to something that quickly, it will also weaken just as quickly. Because if it doesn't need something, it's going to remove it. Like, if you contained all the physical benefits of your biological ancestors, we would not look human right now. Like, you would still have, like, feet that you could walk upright on, but that could also be opposable, like, hands, for one thing.
Oh, yeah. Tails. Will we have tails?
We probably would.
Yeah.
Maybe. But, like, so, like, when they talk about something like, the Alien or Godzilla or whatever, if they could evolve that quickly, they would devolve just as quickly, and there would actually be a substantially high, like, well over 99%, that most of the things it evolves into would actually be actively detrimental to it. Because evolution is horribly inefficient. It just tinkers and tries things, and it actually usually doesn't work. It's just that it only has to get it right once. That's it.
I'm just trying to
Which is why, like, that sort of evolution is possible for, like, an AI who can recognize that stuff and have it under conscious control, and it can do it with maximum efficiency. But in terms of, like, the evolution that you find in nature, hell no.
Yep. Okay.
Like I said, it only has to get it right once, though.
Andrew Ryan reminds us we all make choices, but in the end, our choices...
But yeah, I saw Shin Godzilla, and yeah, I remember the ending when they were showing the tail, and basically what was coming out of it was several clamped together humanoid Godzilla versions of humans coming out of the tail at the end. Basically hinting at, like, the future of human evolution, more or less, or human evolution mutation. It's a scary thought, but physically impossible.
Like I said, I still thought that it's cool.
Yeah, I can agree. That freaked me out. That was a gruesome scene.
No, it's cool. I just prefer, like, the Russian-American Cold War stories, because Godzilla's cool, but I didn't grow up with it, so I'm just kind of looking at it from the outside.
That's fair.
Yep.
I grew up with it. I'm a huge Godzilla nerd. Well, not a nerd, but fan. I'm a huge fan, and I can acknowledge that, like, none of this is physically possible, but that's what makes it fun. It's more the whole franchise is basically just a, well, these days it's just a fan service to people who are fans of kaiju monster films, and that's what they are. They're fun. I do know in the beginning, the first one from 1959 was basically a metaphoric nod to nuclear disaster, which Aeon kind of already went through. But then it kind of went on, became its own thing after that, and it just became a big franchise about kaiju monsters.
Well, it's still fundamentally about that. Like, every backstory, at least that I've ever heard of it, always resulted from the nukes are somehow responsible for Godzilla coming about.
Especially with Shin Godzilla.
Yeah, but it's still fundamental to it. It's still a childish reaction, hoping that nature had something that could save us from the tyranny of nukes, or that, oh, we're going to be punished by the big thing that nukes killed off.
Mm-hmm.
And it obviously, to me, that's just a really childish reaction and refusal to accept a nihilistic realism of it, which is why I admire Russian and American stories about it.
In this case with Shin Godzilla, though, it got mixed results from fans and regular viewers alike. Regular viewers will tell you that it was slow going and boring at times. The Godzilla fans can kind of agree with that, but also agreed that it was still awesome to see a different version of Godzilla, what he would look like if he really were looking like an actual mutated, freakish hell monster from radiation exposure. But the whole movie's inspiration was kind of based off the disaster of that nuclear factory in Japan, and how the government failed to react quickly enough.
Oh, you mean the Fukushima 2011?
Yeah.